The National Association of Black Journalists are biased against Trump? Shocking.
Reloading. Reloading. Reloading.
How's everybody doing today? This is JD Yale of Info Warnings, and today we're going to dive into a deep topic. The biases in the media, especially the National Association of Black Journalists. I'm diving deep to compare how the NABJ covered Trump versus Harris, and I challenge you to uncover the shocking differences in their treatment. This is nothing new. We've been watching how the media has been covering Trump versus Harris the whole time. It's just completely unbalanced. And today we're going to talk about it, especially where the National Association of Black Journalists are involved. Just recently, Kamala Harris did a sit-down interview with the National Association of Black Journalists. Trump did the same thing a few weeks ago, and we're going to look at the differences in the way that they treated Trump versus how they treated Harris. I put together a little video for you that we're going to go into to look at the differences, the biases, the inherent biases between the two. And boy, oh boy, it is shocking and disgusting. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, please do me a favor and like and subscribe so that this channel can continue to bring you these type of updates on what's going on in the world of media and what's going on in the world around you. Tell me what you think about this also in the comments below. Let's get started with this video.
Today, I'm diving deep to compare how NABJ covered Trump versus Harris, and I challenge you to uncover the shocking differences in their treatment.
Without further ado, Vice President Kamala Harris.
NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former President of the United States, the Republican nominee for President, former President Donald Trump.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for doing this and making the time.
Of course.
Just a little bit busy right now. We want to start on an issue that Americans across the country say is their number one concern, and that's the economy. A question that has been asked of you and everybody that's on the Democratic side is whether or not voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
So I thank you for hosting me today.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them.
The National Association of Black Journalists, or NABJ, is a prominent organization that claims to advocate for fair and balanced journalism, particularly when it comes to issues affecting the black community. But have they truly lived up to this mission when it comes to their coverage of two major political figures, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris? That's what I want to explore in this video. One of the biggest issues plaguing our media landscape is bias, and it's not just about liberal or conservative leanings. No, I'm talking about the implicit biases that seep into reporting, often perpetuating harmful stereotypes and reinforcing existing power structures. When it comes to Trump and Harris, NABJ's coverage raises some serious questions about how they're presenting these two figures to the public. Are they holding them to the same standards? Are they using the same tone and language? These are the questions I'll be digging into today. We've seen time and time again how the media can shape our perceptions of political figures, often unintentionally fueling divisiveness and mistrust. By examining NABJ's treatment of Trump and Harris, I hope to shed some light on the role journalism plays in perpetuating or combating these biases. It's not about pointing fingers or assigning blame, it's about recognizing the power dynamics at play and pushing for a more equitable, fair-minded approach to reporting. Media outlets have a unique responsibility to hold those in power accountable, but what happens when they start to create their own narratives around certain figures? When we see this happening, it's essential we call it out and demand better. That's what I'm doing today, by putting NABJ's coverage of Trump and Harris under the microscope. Moving forward, I'll be analyzing specific examples of NABJ's reporting on these two political figures, from the types of stories they chose to cover to the tone and language they used. Let's dive in and see what we can uncover. When it comes to Trump, NABJ's coverage has been overwhelmingly negative, with many outlets painting him as a racist, xenophobic, and misogynistic figure. Are there any instances where NABJ has presented a more nuanced view of Trump, or is it all just condemnation? On the other hand, Kamala Harris has largely been portrayed as a champion of progressive values, a beacon of hope for marginalized communities. But does this glowing reception stem from a genuine commitment to fairness and equality, or is it simply because she aligns with NABJ's own ideological leanings? Are they holding her to the same level of scrutiny as they do Trump, or are there certain topics they're afraid to touch? One of the most striking differences in NABJ's coverage is the frequency of reporting on Trump versus Harris. Trump is always front and center, with his every move scrutinized and criticized. Harris, on the other hand, gets far less coverage, and when she does, it's often fawning and celebratory. Why the disparity? Is it because NABJ truly believes Trump is a greater threat to the black community, or is it simply because they're more interested in pushing a particular narrative? Perhaps the most jarring example of this bias is in how NABJ reported on Trump's response to Charlottesville versus Harris's record on criminal justice reform. In the case of Trump, NABJ was quick to condemn his statements as racist and divisive. But when it comes to Harris's own problematic record on issues like cash bail and prosecutorial misconduct, NABJ's coverage is curiously muted. Why the double standard? Are they afraid to criticize one of their own, or is there another agenda at play? The most shocking disparity I found in NABJ's coverage is the number of times they've quoted Trump's critics versus Harris's critics. In Trump's case, NABJ has repeatedly amplified the voices of his detractors, from politicians to activists to everyday citizens. But when it comes to Harris, those critical voices are almost entirely silenced. It's as if NABJ is more interested in presenting a unified front in support of Harris, rather than allowing for a more nuanced and balanced discussion. In conclusion, my exploration of NABJ's treatment of Trump versus Harris has revealed some disturbing disparities in their coverage. While it's true that these two figures have very different records and policies, the way NABJ has chosen to present them to the public is telling. It raises important questions about the role of journalism in shaping our perceptions of power and accountability.
So, what do you think? Have you noticed the inherent biases in media coverage of both Harris and Trump? Share your thoughts below in the comments. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we can continue to bring you more of these updates on the world around you and the news that's happening on a daily basis. And remember, you've been warned.